And then if people pop in, I will add them in as they come along. So I want to welcome you to our, let's see if I can get the right. Here we go. So just a general welcome to the very first fall online meeting of our first gen education grad students. I believe some of our members are also in the Masters of Leadership in Higher Education, but I don't see any of them on the list for this evening. So I believe everyone here this evening so far are people that are in the Educational Leadership Program. I am the first gen graduate mentor for just education students who are doing master's degrees in education. And I'm going to talk with you this evening about some of the advantages we have, some of the materials we have. The most important part of the evening, we'll be hearing from some of our students who are already in the program, and also from one of our distinguished alumni. So let's just talk a little bit about what we're going to do this evening. First of all, there are going to be a little bit of introductions. Then we will talk about our first gen resources and different opportunities. We have our guest speaker, Mr. John Lavigny, who is the principal of Richland Junior High, and he actually graduated from our educational leadership program in summer of 2023. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A, so if there are questions that pop up as people are talking, please do jot them down or even put them in the chat. And then we'll talk about if you want to have conversations with me as your faculty mentor and things like that. So just to introduce myself, I think everyone knows me. I'm Maureen Spellman. It's my 6th year at North Central. Prior to that, I spent 19 years at St. Xavier University. I came to North Central because of the Current Family Foundation grant and the focus of moving everything into ethical leadership. I am a first-gen student. My parents are both immigrants from Ireland. Neither one passed 8th grade. So, legitimately the first one in my family to go to college, first one in my family to be a grad student. And it's something that I can relate to because I know what my difficulties were just trying to navigate high school, first of all, and then college without any support from my parents who didn't know any better, but who supported me, theoretically, but certainly didn't know how to navigate the systems and things like that. And I think it can make a big difference when you're a first generation student. My children, of course, are not first generation. My husband went to school in Ireland, did his bachelor's degree in Ireland, but even so, he doesn't understand the system here. And so they do feel like they're half first gen because they have one parent who's navigated the US system and one parent who didn't. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Tatiana Barakat, who is one of our liaisons.
Good evening, everyone. Happy to be here with you. I am actually in my 2nd year at North Central College, getting my master's in educational leadership. It's been amazing, and I feel like this community is great to have. I'm currently a 7th and 8th grade language arts teacher at Wilkins Junior High. It's my 8th year teaching. I received my bachelor's from Benedictine University, which is not too far from North Central College, in elementary education, with endorsements in middle school science, social studies, and English. Currently, some of my roles at Wilkins Junior High is team leader and school improvement team member and teacher mentor for 3 years now. So it's really nice to connect with all of you. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Tatiana. I don't see Brianna with us. I know that she is a coach at her school, but if she pops in a little later on, we may come back to her slide. But she's a high school special education teacher, and she's been helping Tatiana and I as we plan these once a semester gatherings. She did her bachelor at Illinois State University in special education. She's a master's candidate here. She's in 2nd year with Tatiana. I believe you're in the same level. She's very involved with her district equity leadership team. Also very much, you can see, involved with extracurriculars. So I'm going to move next. I'm going to talk to all of you. I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. And I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourself before we get to some of the other information and our guest speakers. So Michelle, I see you sharing a screen up there with Tatiana. I got your text that you're having some technical difficulties. Glad that you could run down the hall and join us.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. We've had power outages and today weird things happening today. So my Wi-Fi is not working. So I knew Tatiana would be on and I could run down and get on her room. So here I am. I am in my 29th year of teaching, I believe. Um, I did have some time off with kids when they were little for about 5 years, and I have 3 years in private school experience. But the rest has been in public ed, and most of my career has been in junior high science, which is my love. And I'm happy to be here. I guess, my parents' background. I'm the only one in my family out of 4 kids and 2 parents that has completed a college degree and definitely a graduate level degree. My husband is the same in his family as well. And after I finish my master's, we will both have graduate level degrees.
Yay. Okay. Sarah, Serene, would you like to go next?
Sure. My name is Serene Hassan. I don't know if we want to talk about our educational background, but I've already gotten a master's degree from Lewis University. I got my bachelor's degree from St. Xavier. I got my first master's from Lewis University, and this will be my second master's. I am a first generation child of six out of six. My parents immigrated here from Palestine. My mom had to go back for her GED. My dad never finished high school. I lived in the city most of my life and then went to the suburbs. Yes, and my husband's the same. He's a first generation and he has his master's degree from UIC in public health. So both of us are raising 4 boys, and my son graduated from UIC as a data analyst. My second son is at Michigan State University doing finance, and I have 2 at our local high school.
Thank you, Serene.
Mhm.
Carrie, how about you?
Hi, I'm Carrie Close. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. So if it goes out, I apologize. My name is Carrie Close, and I am currently in my 4th year of teaching. I took about 15 years off to be a stay-at-home mom. I was lucky enough to do that. So I went to college late in life, and I obtained my bachelor's degree in special education and general education at Grand Canyon University. And I just moved here from California, where I was all my life. So I'm now in Illinois. And neither one of my parents have a college background, which I actually did not know, because my mom is a registered nurse, or was a registered ER nurse for ever, 46 years. And my dad has always worked in the oil fields of some sort, but I assumed that at least my mother had a degree. But I guess because they were both in the service and they got their degrees in the service, but not, they weren't degrees, I guess back then. It was just training within the service. And then they had to test to become what they were, but they never graduated. They never went to college and they never graduated. So it was something I learned, and I didn't learn until I graduated that I was actually the first one in my family to graduate college. So it was very rewarding feeling to know that. And I have a brother who did not go to college as well, but I'm proud to say I have 3 kids. 2 of them are currently enrolled in college. One goes to Boise State. She's set to graduate in December, and my other daughter is at Ole Miss, and they're both doing well. And my son, he's just a freshman, so his goal is to go to college. We'll see where he goes. And that's me.
Thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome.
Brenda, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Dr. Spellman.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. My name is Marissa Martinez, and I currently work at a high school. I have I have a master's in social work, and I decided to get a second master's. Both my parents did not. I'm the first gen, so my dad went up to 6th grade, and my mom, I think she was a junior, and she just figured school wasn't for her. So Um, I decided to move up or higher education just to kind of show my siblings and my children an example and just kind of set that tone for them that they can do it as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Derek, it's good to see you again.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Derek Radziszewski, and I moved to the United States in late '90s from Poland. I was my high school time, I suppose. I have a bachelor's degree from North Central, class of 2004. Then I got my master's at National Louis, and between National Louis and now, I have about 60 credits in graduate school work on different things like helping gifted students, students in need. And currently, I am a counselor at Oak Park River Forest High School. Been here for about 14 years, 12 years or 14 years, but I've been a counselor for about 15, 16. And previously, I was at Steinmetz. And again, my parents also came. My parents came to the United States first. I joined them a couple of years later. They in Poland they finished the technical schools, so like not high school. It's more like it's not trade schools, but it's technical schools where they would do drafting, for example, or um, I actually don't even know what exactly my mom did at the school. But yeah,
So
thank you.
you'll have to ask her when you get together. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Amy, I know you're in the car. Can you share with us, or is it going to make it dangerous?
No, I stopped. I'm in my parking lot now. I didn't know it was interactive, so I'm sorry about that. Um, I am a first gen grad. I have six siblings. None of them went to college. And so I'm actually the only one now that pursued higher education. My parents, I think my mom went to like third grade. My dad went to around the same age. They were field workers, so they kind of had to get going and work in Mexico. Um, I became a nurse first, so I have an associate's degree in nursing. And I did that for about 8 years. Did that so that I could help my parents with their legal journey to residency. And so I did nursing for 8 years. Then I was doing my bachelor's degree at Northeastern University, received my bachelor's degree in English, literature, and communications and media. And then received my master's degree in secondary English education from Northeastern. And then now I am here. I am an English teacher at Maine East High School. It's my third year now. And so, yeah, that's me so far.
Thank you. Mira, how about you?
Hi everyone, my name is Yamira and I'm a first generation college student. My mom, her family came from Puerto Rico, and then originally my like abuela and abuelo, they came here first, and then they had my tios, and then my mom, they came over later. And so they had just like a very quick education. My grandma, I remember her working in like a Campbell soup factory. And then my grandpa, he trained police dogs. And then my mom, she actually felt pregnant with me really early in middle school. And so that was like the last of her education. And so then my dad, he only has a high school education, and even my brothers, they didn't go to school. So it's kind of just been me, myself, and my little journey trying to navigate FAFSA and classes and what do I do? And so originally I had graduated with my bachelor's in international security and English composition. And then I have a master's in teaching. And now, of course, I'm getting this master's too. So it's just nice to hear everyone's stories and their backgrounds, because sometimes I'm like trying to talk to my other friends, but they're not exactly getting this journey. And then it kind of pushes me into this whole kind of like, man, why am I the only one that is navigating this situation this way? So it's nice to hear everyone's journeys.
Well, thank you. I don't think Armika's with us. She sent a message in the chat that she's in between parent conferences and she had to step out for one. Are you, Armika, I'm assuming you're not there. You're not answering. So I'm just going to tell everybody to smile while I take a nice snapshot of everybody. Big smiles. There we go. All right. Well, thank you so much, all of you, for sharing. That's really been nice to hear about everyone's different journey. So we're going to move on a little bit further. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Julie Carballo, because Julie Carballo is sort of like the superwoman of First Gen. She just manages everything First Gen and everything for our military students. She's just an amazing, amazing woman that is the one who actually started the First Gen programs here at North Central. Her office is located way on the north side of campus, as far north as you can go in Siebert Hall. I'm going to send a copy of this PowerPoint out to all of you later on, so you don't have to worry about jotting these things down. But she's a wonderful person. If you have questions, you can schedule meetings with her. I wanted you to know that in Siebert Hall, if you're ever on campus, there is a nice space there for studying and places to socialize. She also would love if you follow us on social media. And she talks about, the fact that there's a lending library. We have a large list of faculty and staff who are also first gen. And we also have a website for First Gen here at North Central. So lots of different things. And all of this will be on the file. I will send you a PDF file with all of these slides. So Tatiana, I'm trying to remember, is this me or is this?
It's me. I'm 789.
Okay.
So I'll talk to you guys a little bit about Tri Alpha Honor Society. So I'm actually a part of this honor society, and first of all, I want to thank you guys for all sharing your stories. It's impressive. I did forget to share where my family came from. My family's from Palestine. My parents migrated from there. But I do want to say it's important to celebrate yourself. So it's really nice that North Central has the Tri Alpha Honor Society. It recognizes and celebrates academic achievement for first generation students. And the next one will take place on Thursday, April 18th at 6:30. So they give you this nice cord, and it's really, really a nice time to really celebrate yourself and have other people come celebrate with you. So be on the lookout for that. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the requirements. So you must be a current graduate candidate, and you have to have completed 9 credit hours. And you have to have a GPA of at least 3.5 in all graduate level coursework, and be from a family where neither parent nor step parents or any legal guardians earned a bachelor's degree. Again, this is your time to celebrate yourself, and I think it's such a beautiful thing. So North Central also has a Cardinal First Pinning ceremony. So it's a time to recognize you, and it takes place Friday, May 2nd. We'll give you a pin that you can wear at graduation. Each first gen graduate will be presented a pin, and you can actually be pinned by a faculty or staff member of your choice. And they can celebrate this achievement with you. So you can wear this at graduation.
I'll just tag on there and add on to that, because I know some people on the call are people that are in their very first semester. So the pinning ceremony is really takes place just before graduation. So those of you that have just started, you'd be waiting until your graduation weekend. Usually the pinning ceremony is on Friday. We have a wonderful hooding ceremony on Saturday. And then, of course, on Sunday would be the graduation itself. Okay. Other things that we want to talk about here are that, we do have writing centers here in North Central, and graduate students are always welcome. There's a physical space up in our library, up in the north end of campus, but they also do online synchronous appointments. And so they know that it's a lot of grad students aren't on campus during their regular hours. So you can actually reach out to them. They're piloting things now in the last year or so, and they're finding that it's been really helpful, particularly to students who might be English language learners. It's really a resource for students of all levels of writing. So they'll help you with papers, they'll help you with all kinds of things. What they really want you to do is to schedule a tutorial if you're interested. And again, you need to register, you need to make an appointment. And usually they respond within 72 hours or less. Again, I'll send all of this to you at the end of our conversation today. So now I want to turn this over to our guest speaker, who is just a wonderful person, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. And this is Mr. John Lavigne.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm John Lavigny, and I'm the principal over at Richland Junior High. Richland Junior High. This is my first year as principal. Just a little professional background about me. I started off here about 10 years ago as the 8th grade social studies teacher. About 4.5 years ago, an opportunity arose for me to step up into administration, and halfway through the year, I became dean. I did deaning for 2 years, and then I became assistant principal and then principal this year. Some personal stuff about me. I shared a couple pictures, as you can see on the right-hand side. Gianna, my girlfriend, we have our 7-year anniversary coming up November 12th. So very excited about that. We have 7 animals between us, 2 dogs, 2 cats. Toulouse is on the bottom right over there when he was a kitten, and 3 chickens that we just got this summer, Wendy, Betty, and Penny. All right, next slide, please. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to start off talking about my personal journey. However, I'm going to kind of change my speech a little bit based on the clientele that we have here. I wasn't sure if most of you were going to be in the graduate program or in education, or whether we're going to have some undergraduates. So kind of bear with me as I kind of go through some of this. My personal journey starts off, like many of you, with immigration. Not necessarily me, but my grandparents. My grandparents were immigrants to this country, and on my mom's side, they both worked at the Nabisco factory, which is now closed, it used to be by Midway Airport. And on my dad's side, my grandma worked at the Johnson & Johnson factory, and my grandfather was a truck driver. My dad worked in the car business. He was a car salesman and eventually a car sales manager. And my mom for a time, she worked over at the grocery store. For a time, she worked at the mall. And for a time, she did some cutting here on the side. So she was kind of doing a lot of part-time jobs to kind of help the family along as we went on. Education was always something that was valued in our household, but also with them not being able to complete college and go to college, there was always that saying that we're doing what we do so that you can have a better life, so that you can make the most of your education. And I thought that was always something that was really important, that was kind of that guiding light for me, but it also kind of put pressure on you from hearing this from a very early age, as you know, a middle schooler and a high schooler, you didn't know how to quite process that. And so not only was it a guiding light, but it also put some pressure on you, and a little anxiety as well. In school, I was pretty much a good student. I really loved reading. I was always into history, and I really focused on that in my middle school years. When I got to high school, I liked school a little bit more for the social aspect, and got into a little bit of trouble, but that's where I really met the teachers and the mentors that kind of set it apart. Because I was a little bit of a handful in some of my classes, teachers like Mr. Grider, who took the time to meet me halfway and have discussions with me, and really show me that there was a way to do things the right way, was a big influence on my life. My wrestling coaches that showed us what accountability was and hard work really paved that way for me. And so I had a good idea on what I wanted to do getting out of high school, that I wanted to get an education, and I wanted to be that person that Mr. Grider and Mr. Anderson were for me, for others. And so I went to Chicago State University on 95th and Martin Luther King Drive, and that's where I got my undergraduate. And then I got into education. I started off at CPS and then went to Richland. And then I started my leadership journey at North Central College. And some of the challenges of being a first generation student are quite a few. One for me was the social aspect. Just not knowing, feeling kind of sometimes like an imposter, the feeling that I didn't belong. And that was always something hard for me to get over. One of the ways that I was able to do that was by finding the right mentors, especially as a graduate. I tried to cling to people inside my class that had already began their leadership journey. Melissa is one that comes to mind right away, and really kind of sticking with some of those professors that I felt a personal connection with, and really, diving in and sometimes sharing personal things and really asking questions. So that was a really important thing. Financial is, as teachers, which I heard a lot of us are, the financial side can always be a difficult thing to balance. A lot of us already have student loans, and going back to graduate school can be a difficult on the finances as well. Something that was important for me was to speak to people who had been there before and kind of how they went about it. Since you guys are in education, one of the things that I really do recommend, especially if you're getting pushed into leadership by someone at school, is to sit down and speak with them about how they can support you during this time. Oftentimes, schools are going to have some kind of stipulation in their CBA about paying for credits of college. If you get into an administrative job early and you leave the CBA, there's always a way to kind of negotiate that contract about having college paid for. So that's something that I would recommend as well. And the next thing is really navigating college life is difficult. I think North Central does a better job of providing the proper supports to kind of help you navigating college life. What we're doing right now being a prime example of those. But in order to navigate those things, you really need to reach out and talk to your professors and help them point you in the right way to utilize whatever's available to you. And the next thing is kind of setting those boundaries for yourself. As we're taking on, not only are we working and we have families, and we need to get our college work done. It's very, very important in this new chapter of your life that you set the proper boundaries for yourself, or else we can start developing unhealthy habits where we're pushing ourselves too far. And so what I would recommend is looking at your day and what you need to accomplish and kind of setting the proper boundaries for yourself. There is tremendous value in going for a graduate degree. Especially at the university that you're in. You are going to increase your capacity in really three major ways, in my opinion. One, you're going to gather more knowledge that is going to help you towards your profession. The second capacity that you're really going to do is you're going to experience a lot more things within, especially when you start doing your internship, that are going to be very pivotal in your leadership journey that are going to help you. And so what I recommend, especially in that piece, is to really speak to the leaders at your school and see where you could start taking on these leadership experiences, whether that's starting a summer school program or after school tutoring program. Try to figure out where you can start getting those leadership experiences. They're going to be very, very important for you. And then the third part, which is probably the most important, and I think something that this program does a very good job on, is going to be expanding your capacity as your character. There's a big focus on ethical and moral leadership that comes with this program here. And I think if you really delve into that deeply and you use it to reflect on the decisions that you made previously and the ones that could be coming up, the capacity to grow as a person, to just become a better person, to become good, is something that comes out of this program that is unique to others. The other value from this program really comes from the support of your professors. It's so important to build that network. When I was at North Central College, I was doing quite a few things at once. I had just moved from being a teacher into the dean position. I was coaching wrestling and volleyball at the exact same time, and I was going to college. And so I was really pushing the capacity of my workload as far as I possibly could. And during that time, a tragic event happened in my family where I ended up losing a niece that was only 14 days old. And all the pressure from school and from the late nights and the worry and seeing my sister and her husband so upset because they were living with me at the time because I was closer to the hospital, it brought me to literally a breaking point. And that's why the network that you have and that you set up at school is extremely, extremely important. Because I was going through those things, and I reached out to my professors, especially Dr. Transier, who was there at the time, and kind of confided in her and let her know about what was going on. It helped me to get the support I needed. It gave me time to get some of the things done that I needed to get done with some extended windows and provide kind of a guidance and next steps about going through those things. And for me personally, it was a difficult time, but it was made much easier because I was able to connect with the right people. Whether it was the people that I went to school with, who I also shared kind of what this was about, and my professors as well. And so that was an inspiring moment for me because it kind of showed me that, yeah, school is really important, but my professors here really care about my well-being as a person. And so I really would encourage you, if you're going through things, or whether it's something as big as serious as what I was dealing with, something bigger, or even something smaller, really keep that open dialogue with your professors over at school, because they are there to make sure that you succeed. I would highly, highly recommend that. And the next thing about going to school, there's going to be so many opportunities, and it's going to open so many doors for you. It's not only going to open up that door for you to become an administrator, if that's your end goal, but along the way, it's going to open other little doors and opportunities for you to grow as a person. And when kind of those things happen, I think that's really where the fulfillment comes in. Today, I'm here because I'm so happy, and North Central and Dr. Spellman were so impactful on my life that I wanted to come back and kind of speak to you guys just about some of the things that could happen here. And that's kind of me kind of giving back. I think as educators, which I heard a lot of us are, that's our whole goal, right? It's to kind of give back. And selfishly, it makes us feel good at the exact same time. And that's where we really do get some of our fulfillment. And so I'm just so happy that I went to a university and had the opportunity to learn about character and doing the right thing, and kind of put me in a position to kind of work hard and give back to the school that I work with now and to the college that I went to. Can we go to the next slide? And really my message to you today is, seize the day. You are in a position where you are going to be future leaders. And so it's extremely important on your journey there, which is one that is very, very difficult, is to get that support network. Speak with your professors. Do groups like these. Find the right friends in your classes. Find the right mentors at school, and ask questions and ask for help. People at this college and people in this profession, that's what they want. They want to help others. And so if you speak up, I found that you will get the help that you need. This time is about building your capacity. Going back to school for a graduate degree, you want to measure how much responsibility you can handle, because if your end goal is to become a school administrator, there's a lot of it. And so really during this time, see how much you can handle, gradually increase that until your plate is full, but not overflowing. When it starts to overflow, that's when we start to drop things, and we start to forget about things and start to not fulfill our responsibilities. And so you kind of want to see where that is and have that right balance. And if it gets too full where we can't even carry that plate, that's sometimes when we start doing a disservice to the people that we work with, and we also start taking a toll on ourselves, our mental and physical health. So find that right balance. And the other thing is, I really got to stress that you need to put yourself in a position for when opportunities arrive. Kind of going back to how I became in this role. If you were to ask me 6 years ago, would I be an administrator? The answer probably would have been no. If you were to ask me last year if I was going to be principal of Richland Junior High, the answer would have been no. But it started a long time ago when I first took this job. And as opportunities presented itself, whether that was coaching, whether that was tutoring, whether that was starting a summer school program or starting a new club, as I took on these things, over the years, I began to know all the things about my school. And so eventually administrators would come to me and ask me questions about certain aspects of the school because I had become so familiar with it. And then when the opportunity arose, I was able to take on an administrative role when I interviewed for it and took it. When I was dean and assistant principal, I kind of did the exact same thing. I asked my principal for more and more responsibilities. I wanted to be involved in each and every aspect of what was going on in the building so that I could learn more. And so when a district level job opened last year for my principal and he took it, I put myself in a position to interview well enough to get in the spot that I am now. And now once you kind of get in these spots, the impact that you can have on students and teachers and the overall academics can be so much, especially if you're doing things the right way. And that's what I came here to kind of share with you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Does anyone have any questions for John?
It was that bad, huh? I
He loves
apologize.
questions. He loves questions.
Michelle has a question.
I have a question. I want to ask, what do you love about being a principal at the middle school level?
That's a great question. It's the thing that I like. That's well, two things. If I could say two things. One, I like when I do something for my teachers that actually makes their lives easier. So when we get something like that accomplished, ooh, does that feel good? Because oftentimes as administrators, we're putting more stuff on their plate. We need to have this filled out, or this new thing is coming down, or now this new initiative. And so when I can sit back and try to think, definitely use my teacher brain, right? And figure out how can I make things easier for my teachers, and I accomplish that, and I send out a survey that I'm like, uh-oh, this is going to be bad, this is going to be bad. And then it comes back where everyone's like, we really like what you did here. We really do. That really makes me feel good. For example, the instance with this was I implemented 2 years ago, this is our second year using it now, is Smart Pass. And so it was a digital pass instead of doing all these physical passes. And so at first we were hesitant. Some of the teachers were nervous, especially some of my veteran teachers, but we implemented it the right way. We did a lot of professional development. I went to each classroom individually and showed the teachers how to use it, so it wasn't more work on the teachers. And it rolled out very, very smooth. And it ended up being an overwhelming success. So that's one thing that really makes me happy when I can do things like that. The second thing is seeing the students flourishing and enjoying themselves. Because I've been here for 10 years, I got to see 1, 2, 3 principals come and go before I started. And certain principals did some things that others didn't. And I was able to kind of pull from each one what I wanted for our students. And something that was dropped from when COVID happened and with our new principals coming in is we stopped making school a place for kids to look forward to. So this year I kind of re-implemented some fun things for them, like pep rallies and dances and these things that we didn't have before. And we did like a September challenge this year that went with our pep rally where they kind of compared attendance per grade level. And they were talking about, I didn't want to go to school yesterday, but I wasn't going to let the class down and things like that nature where they're kind of coming together. That stuff I think is awesome.
I have a question for you, John. Do you think anything about your experience as a first gen student it has helped you in your relationships with parents in your district?
Oh, that's a great question. I live in, I don't, excuse me, I work in a Title I school. And so free and reduced lunch is at 64% for my school. And most of the median income for the district that I work for is at about $58,000 a year, and they're multi-generation housing, typically. And so there is not many college graduates from their families. However, a lot of the kids that are going through our school now are becoming college graduates. But understanding, especially the struggle and the unknown and the questions, and just being very patient with them and kind of pulling back those layers when I talk to them. Something that goes directly with that is this year we started a parent academy. And so the Parent Academy, the first session was about how to help our students at home with math. And it's an area of growth for us as a school, but a lot of the parents that are either recent immigrants or didn't finish high school have no idea how to help their students, especially in math class. And so that was one of the first academies that we did. Another one that's coming up that I think is also important that is going to have some impact is kind of talking about the dangers of social media as well. A lot of our immigrant families are not so familiar with things that their kids are doing right now, especially on Snapchat and certain things. And so I'm trying to peel back those layers a little bit by just educating.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other questions for John? Well, we've got 1 minute left. So just as we wrap up, I just want to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy days to come. Just want to remind you that I am the mentor for those of you that are in the master's programs, and happy to help you at any time. Understand your journey and happy to support you on yours. That Tatiana and Brianna are our first gen liaisons, and they are also very willing to help and chat with people. The problem is, though, that Tatiana and Brianna are going to be graduating in May or summer, right?
Summer, yes.
Yeah, so they're going to be looking for volunteers to replace them in spring. We will have a meeting again in spring with another guest speaker, and hopefully by that time we might have some volunteers from you that might want to jump in and help to plan the next sessions. I want to thank you, John. It was so nice to see you, and so nice and so gracious of you to give up, I know, the busy time from a principal to come and spend time with all of us. And have a great evening. Thank you all so very much for joining us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thank you.
It was great to connect with all of you. Bye.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.